Pioneers, I've been reading your comments and I understand the confusion. Many of you are asking the same questions. What's the difference between November 27th and November 28th? Pi is already listed on exchanges, so what does this EU listing actually mean? And the biggest question of all, does this finally open the door to Binance and other major exchanges? Today, I'm going to break down everything in simple terms. No hype, no speculation, just facts straight from the official MiCA document. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what's happening, why it matters, and what it means for Pi's ecosystem, the dApps, and the future of using Pi as real money. Before we dive in, I'm your host, Nathan, and I want to welcome all my amazing pioneers tuning in from every corner of the world. Whether you're watching from Nigeria, India, the Philippines, the United States, Kenya, or anywhere else, I'm truly glad you're here. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss the truth behind Pi. And drop a comment saying Pi Clarity or Pi to the Moon with your country flag. Let's show the world that pioneers understand what's really going on. Now, let's clear up this confusion once and for all. Let me start with the question everyone is asking. What's the difference between November 27th and November 28th? Here's the simple breakdown. November 27th. 2025 is the publication date of the final MiCA whitepaper. Think of this as the official announcement day. This is when the completed regulatory document becomes publicly available across the European Union. It's like submitting your final thesis to the university. The document is done, reviewed, and officially published for the world to see. November 28th, 2025 is the starting date for the offer to the public and admission to trading. This is the actual launch day. This is when Pi becomes officially tradable on MiCA-compliant exchanges within the European Union and European Economic Area. So in simple terms, November 27th is the paperwork day. November 28th is the trading day. Why two separate dates? European regulations require a mandatory waiting period between when a white paper is published and when trading can begin. This gives regulators, exchanges, and the public time to review the final document before trading starts. It's not a delay, it's how the system works. Pi is following the rules exactly as required. This is actually a sign of professionalism. Most crypto projects try to rush to market without proper documentation. Pi is doing everything by the book, which is exactly what major institutions and regulators want to see. Now here's where many pioneers are confused. Pi is already trading on exchanges like OKX, BitGet, MEXC, and Gate.io. So what's different about this EU listing? Let me explain the crucial difference between unregulated listings and regulated listings. Right now, Pi trades on several exchanges globally. These are what we call secondary market listings. The exchanges listed Pi based on market demand. They're not regulated under European law. The Pi Foundation and PiBit had no direct involvement in these listings. The MiCA listing is completely different. This is a regulated, compliant, officially sanctioned listing under the strictest cryptocurrency laws in the world. The European Union's MiCA framework is designed to protect consumers, ensure transparency, and create a legitimate financial environment for crypto assets. When Pi gets listed under MiCA on OKX Europe, it's not just another exchange listing. It's Pi being officially recognized as a compliant digital asset that meets institutional grade standards. It's like the difference between selling products at a local market versus getting your products approved and sold in a government-certified store. Here's what this actually means in practice. European investors and institutions can now legally trade Pi with full regulatory protection. Banks and financial institutions that couldn't touch Pi before may now be able to engage with it. Investment funds that require regulatory compliance can potentially include Pi in their portfolios. The legitimacy concerns that have haunted Pi for years are officially addressed in the EU's eyes. Remember the Valor Pi ETP that launched on Sweden's Spotlight stock market, back in August 2025, that was an early sign of institutional interest. But this MiCA compliance takes it to a whole new level. We're talking about access to a market of over 450 million people across countries like Germany, France, Italy, and the entire European Economic Area. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Does MiCA compliance mean Binance will finally list Pi? Here's the honest answer. MiCA compliance doesn't guarantee a Binance listing, but it removes some of the biggest obstacles that have been blocking it. Let me explain why Binance hasn't listed Pi so far. Multiple analysts have identified the key reasons. First, Pi's blockchain code has not been fully open source, which creates trust issues for major exchanges that need to verify security. Second, there hasn't been a confirmed third-party security audit, which most Tier 1 exchanges require. Third, some reports suggest Pi Network may not have formally applied for listing on Binance or Coinbase. Fourth, there have been concerns about centralization since the core team controlled the mainnet validators for a long time. Fifth, tokenomics transparency has been questioned by some analysts. Now here's where MiCA changes things. By achieving MiCA compliance, Pi has demonstrated to the world that it can meet the requirements of the strictest regulatory framework in existence. If Pi can satisfy European regulators, it signals to exchanges like Binance that the project has serious institutional-grade compliance infrastructure. Recent developments suggest progress is happening. In July 2025, community members discovered that the Pi wallet now includes support options for Binance Connect and Binance P2P. While this doesn't confirm an immediate listing, it suggests the Pi core team is building infrastructure that aligns with Binance's systems. Additionally, the Pi network has been working on making its code more open source, with reports indicating 90% completion as of August 2025. The core team also recently shut down the central node, which is a significant step toward true decentralization. What does this mean for a potential Binance listing? Experts suggest that if Pi continues on this path, completing open source transparency, conducting security audits, and demonstrating ecosystem growth, a Binance listing could potentially happen by 2026 or even sooner. But here's what's important to understand. Pi doesn't necessarily need Binance to succeed. The EU market alone represents over 450 million potential users. Combined with Pi's existing presence on OKX, BitGet, MEXC, and other exchanges, plus the massive community of over 60 million pioneers, Pi already has significant infrastructure in place. A Binance listing would be a major catalyst, yes, but MiCA compliance might actually be more important for long-term institutional adoption and regulatory acceptance worldwide. Now let's talk about what I believe is the most exciting part of this whole development: what MiCA compliance means for Pi's ecosystem of decentralized applications and real-world utility. Here's something many pioneers don't fully appreciate yet. Pi Network isn't just a cryptocurrency. It's becoming a complete Web3 ecosystem with over 150 decentralized applications already launched on the mainnet. These dApps span categories like payments, social platforms, NFTs, gaming, and marketplaces. The MiCA white paper explicitly states that Pi tokens are intended to serve as the medium of exchange and unit of account within the Pi ecosystem, supporting use cases such as payments, marketplace transactions, and other functions. This is huge. MiCA compliance essentially validates Pi's utility model. It's not just a speculative asset. It's designed to be used as actual money for actual transactions. Let me tell you about some of the developments happening right now. In September 2025, Pi Network launched its decentralized exchange, called PiDEX, an automated market maker on testnet v23. This means pioneers can now test token swaps, liquidity pools, and token minting. In November 2025, Gargura Digital Bank launched on testnet, positioning itself as a Pi-native digital banking interface. Over 173 decentralized applications are scheduled to launch as part of the Soroban smart contract integration. The Pi Hackathon attracted over 2,100 developers from more than 100 countries building real applications. Why does MiCA-compliance supercharge all of this? Here's the connection most people are missing. Before MiCA-compliance, businesses were hesitant to accept Pi because of regulatory uncertainty. Merchants didn't want to risk accepting a cryptocurrency that might face legal issues. Developers were cautious about building on a platform that might not be recognized by authorities. Now, with MiCA-compliance, that uncertainty is dramatically reduced within the European Union. Merchants can accept Pi as a stable and legally recognized asset. Developers can build decentralized applications on Pi with confidence, knowing that their projects operate within a sustainable and compliant framework. Startups can scale across EU jurisdictions seamlessly. The Pi Foundation has committed a $100 million fund through Pi Network Ventures to support startups integrating Pi into practical, real-world use cases. This isn't theoretical anymore, it's happening. Think about what this means for the average pioneer. You've been mining Pi for years on your phone. Now, those coins are being positioned as real currency that can be spent at real merchants, used in real applications, and traded on regulated exchanges. The white paper mentions gas fees of just 0.01 Pi per transaction. That's practically nothing. Compare that to Ethereum, where gas fees can sometimes reach $50 or more during busy periods. Pi is designed from the ground up to be usable for everyday purchases, not just large investment transactions. Let me explain why all of this matters using a concept called velocity of money. When currency changes hands frequently, it creates economic activity. If you earn Pi, spend it at a shop, the shop owner uses it to pay rent, and the landlord uses it to buy supplies, that's high velocity. The same coins are facilitating multiple transactions, creating real economic value. Bitcoin has low velocity. Most Bitcoin sits in wallets as long-term investments. People hold it like digital gold. They don't spend it on coffee because transaction fees are too high, and they believe the price will increase. Pi is designed to have high velocity. It's meant to move through the economy, enabling trade, facilitating exchanges, creating value with every transaction. Here's the breakthrough moment. When MiCA-compliance combines with dApp ecosystem growth, you get a feedback loop. More regulatory acceptance leads to more merchant adoption. More merchant adoption leads to more places to spend Pi. More spending utility leads to more user engagement. More user engagement leads to more developers building apps. More apps lead to more utility. And the cycle continues. Right now, merchants across regions are beginning to accept Pi. The Pi Fest event in March 2025 reportedly signed up over 125,000 merchants to accept Pi. That's not a small number, that's the beginning of a real Pi economy. So what should pioneers do with all this information? First, complete your KYC verification immediately if you haven't already. The MiCA document confirms that users must complete KYC with identity proof and sometimes biometric or liveness checks. Without KYC, you cannot access your mainnet Pi. Second, complete your mainnet migration. Your Pi needs to be on the mainnet to participate in the ecosystem that's being built. Third, secure your wallet. The Pi wallet uses a 24-word passphrase that only you control. Back it up safely. No one can recover it for you if you lose it. Fourth, explore the ecosystem. Fifth, set realistic expectations. MiCA-compliance is a massive milestone, but it doesn't mean Pi will moon overnight. It means Pi is being positioned for legitimate, long-term sustainable growth. The groundwork is being laid for real utility, not just speculation. Let me take a moment to address the skeptics who still doubt Pi Network. For years, critics said Pi was a scam. They said it was just collecting data. They said it would never launch. They said pioneers were wasting their time pressing a button every day. This MiCA filing proves them wrong on every single point. PiBitl Ltd is a real company incorporated in the British Virgin Islands. The The Pi Foundation was established in December 2024 with real governance structures. Social Chain Inc. is a real technology company founded in 2018. These aren't imaginary organizations. They're real entities with real legal obligations. The fact that a European regulatory body has accepted this white paper for review means Pi has passed a level of scrutiny that most cryptocurrency projects can't even attempt. Europe doesn't mess around with financial regulations. If you can pass a MiCA, you've demonstrated legitimate professional operations. Does this mean everything is perfect? No. There are still challenges ahead. Token unlocks, ecosystem development, and broader exchange adoption all need to continue progressing. But the foundation is now solid. The regulatory groundwork is laid. The path forward is clearer than it has ever been. Let me leave you with the bigger picture of what's happening here. Pi Network started with a simple idea: make cryptocurrency accessible to everyone, not just tech experts, not just wealthy investors, everyone with a smartphone. Over 60 million pioneers joined this mission. They mined Pi daily. They built security circles. They referred friends and family. They held on through years of doubt and uncertainty. Now, that patience is being rewarded with something more valuable than a quick price pump. It's being rewarded with legitimacy, with regulatory acceptance, with a real ecosystem of applications and merchants, with a path to becoming actual usable money. The MiCA white paper states clearly there was no initial coin offering. Tokens were distributed exclusively through mining and participation. This is wealth distribution in action. Regular people, many in developing countries, accumulated a digital asset that is now being positioned for global recognition. November 27th and 28th are not just dates on a calendar. They represent the beginning of Pi's next chapter. The speculation phase is ending. The utility phase is beginning. So let me summarize everything we covered today. November 27th is when the final MiCA white paper is published. November 28th is when official trading begins on MiCA-compliant exchanges in the EU. This EU listing is fundamentally different from existing exchange listings because it represents regulated, compliant, institutionally recognized trading access. MiCA compliance doesn't guarantee a Binance listing, but it removes major obstacles and positions Pi for potential Tier 1 exchange access in the future. More importantly, it validates Pi's ecosystem and enables dApps, merchants, and developers to build with confidence. The real opportunity isn't just price speculation. It's participating in a growing digital economy where Pi can be used as real money for real transactions. If you found this breakdown helpful, leave a comment below letting me know if you now understand the difference between November 27th and November 28th. Tell me what you're most excited about: the EU listing, the potential for Binance, or the dApp ecosystem growth? Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll keep bringing you clear, honest breakdowns of everything happening with Pi Network. To all the pioneers who held on through 5 years of doubt, your faith is being validated. This is just the beginning. Welcome to Pi's new chapter. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and keep pioneering.